Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ain't You a Peach. I am Jamie, and we're going to be talking about the Georgia Guidestones. And Lap is with us, of course, Mr. as he calls himself, the Pit.
You have to have a pit with a peach, right? I mean, they kind of go together like soup and nuts.
That's sort of true, but don't you throw the pit away?
That's the whole point.
I'm not throwing you away, though.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
They say you should recycle everything anyway.
Well, I could plant you in some dirt and see if you turn into a peach tree.
There you go.
Yeah, peach trees. So how's your week been?
The week has been pretty good. It's a brand new year. You know, they say new year, new start. Yeah, well, new year, same old me. So same start.
True.
Just an old fart. What can I say?
I'm ready to see what 2022 is going to bring. I mean, can it get any worse than 2021 or 2020 or?
I don't know. 2022, it's a bullet. So that's, 22 bullet. I don't know. Bad pun.
It's true. It's very true. I mean,
I have a feeling this year will come at us like a bullet.
That is very possible. So I'm just I'm curious.
Not yellow?
I'm curious if it's gonna be as bad as past two.
One can hope not.
That is very true. Very true. So you wanna yeah, let's do the Deli Hello.
Already? Good afternoon, my fellow Ain't You a Peachers? Happy Sunday. It's the second day with only 363 remaining in 2022. And no, I don't have a sounder yet. I got to figure out one for this year. I was thinking maybe a girl screaming a glass breaking, scream glass.
Hey, I got one.
It's nonsense.
There you go. Today is National Science Fiction Day that promotes the celebration of science fiction as a genre, its creators, its history, and various media. The date of the celebration commemorates the birth of famed science fiction writer Isaac Asimov, an American author and Boston University biochemist. Asimov was born Isaac Yudovich Asimov. Man, that's a rough one to say. On January, guess what? 2nd, 1920. He is best known for his works of science fiction and his popular science books. It's also National Personal Trainer Awareness Day. Kickstart the year on January 2nd with a day to appreciate the professionals who help us keep our resolutions one step at a time, with getting in shape as one of the biggest resolutions each new year. Personal trainers know they will be in high demand. Their jobs are not only to motivate us, but also to make sure we learn how to work our bodies safely. Injuries due to misuse of equipment and or not properly warming up muscles can keep our resolutions just as much as a lack of motivation. It's also National Cream Puff Day. Hey, I are one of those. Originating in France, cream puffs are also known as porfillo. That's, I pronounced that way wrong, but it's French. And cloras de crème. Cream puffs are French dessert pastry filled with whipped cream. Pastry, ice cream, pastry cream, ice cream, or custard. What? They may be served plain or can be decorated with chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, or dusted with powdered sugar. Borrowed from the French word pinafore, has existed in English since 1604. The cream puff has been found on United States restaurants' menus since 1851. It's National Buffet Day. A buffet system serves several food choices in a central location. Patrons easily view and select the food to serve themselves. Buffets are useful for feeding large groups of individuals at one time. Initially, during the middle of the 16th century, the buffet table came from the brandished word Swedish schnapps, short for alcoholic beverage table. The custom peaked during the early 18th century and then developed into more modern buffet around the beginning of the 19th century. During the expansion of the railroads through Europe, the smorgasbord buffet increased in popularity. It's day 658 of 14 to flatten the curve. Thank you, Liberty Lighthouse, who was on last night at 8 o'clock. My New Year's resolution is to help all my friends gain 10 pounds so I look thinner. Bum, bum, bum. We do have the...
Oh, God.
You didn't like that one?
All
I thought
right.
that was pretty good.
Well, I saw a meme the other day that said something about eat as much as you can right now. That way it'll be easier to do your your New Year's resolution after the first of
Oh,
the
I
year.
see. You eat everything now so you have room then.
Right, exactly.
And you know what
Okay.
there's always room for? There's always
No.
room for coffee. And you know where to get
Well,
the best coffee? That's
mhm.
over at APR, or American Pride Roasters. Yes, sir, Bob. The girls got some right there. And not only do they have coffee, they have chocolate drops. I think somebody got some drops for Crittlemas last year. I see a head of
Mhm.
bubbling. And a coffee
Mhm.
cup to go in it. And American Pride Roasters is your number one coffee choice. Go over to AmericanPrideRoasters.com and pick you out some. Yum.
And we can't forget we have okay, what is it again? It's, Insane Custom Tumblers.
InsaneTumble.com.
Custom.
Yeah.
Insane Custom Tumblers.
CustomTumblers.com.
.com. Get your Ain't You a Peach one. Okay, so I'm not sure who all knows what the Georgia Guidestones are and who does know. The Georgia Guidestones are here in Georgia. It's a granite monument. It was erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, which is, I think it's like close to about an hour, maybe, give or take, from me.
90 miles east of Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a set of 10. It has 10 guidelines on it. It's kind of like, biblically, we have the 10 commandments. This has what they call the 10 Guidestones. It's in 8 different languages. There is shorter messages around the top edges. It stands about 750 feet above sea level. If you did it according to that, it's about, let's see, what they say it was, 19 feet. It's a little more than 19 feet tall. Has 6 granite slabs. I'm trying to give you the specifics and stuff before we go into the actual thing. They were finished in 1980. They started them in 1979. The person that came into the bank with a briefcase of money who wanted them built used a pseudonym. His name was R.C. Christian. Nobody knows who this man is. He claims that he was hired to have this done. The area, from what I've understood from some things that I've looked at, is there are approximately 6 places in the United States that will withstand what is going to happen during the apocalypse, per se, sort of. And this was one of the areas, because I've seen several different things where Florida disappears, the bottom half of Georgia disappears, part of California is going to, all these various outer states are going to slowly disappear. Then there's also the Mississippi River will swell, so you got to go up through that portion, and some of those areas will disappear and stuff. So the places that were chosen were all places that would still be standing at that point, if that makes any sense.
Show them the picture.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture of it. Hang on one second.
Well, she's grabbing you that picture. The Guidestones were the gentleman that went into the bank, Robert C. Christian, which is an alias. He talked to Joe Fendley, who was the president of the bank, and he was then hooked up with Wyatt. And Wyatt C. Martin, who was the president of the Granite City Bank, did most of the meetings with Richard C. Christian, and to this day hasn't divulged the actual name of Mr. Christian.
He swore secrecy, and he said he can't go back on his word. So as you can see, each of those has, if you can see it, I will be posting these on Twitter also. Each side of the granite has a different language stating the 10 rules for sustaining a healthy earth, let's just say. So there is, let me go back to my my thing and give you the languages. Okay, so we have English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindu, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. Now, the 10 things that it says could be read, kind of a sort of These are just good things that we should do. But if you're looking at today, what's going on right now, if you've heard the video of Gates talking about to sustain Earth, we have to lower our population, this kind of makes sense. So the very first one says maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Now, talking of Gates, in the video that I've seen where he's got this formula up and he's talking about he says, and I don't know how old the video is, but he says something, I think we have 900 million in the world right now, according to that time. That would mean 400 million people need to, and he mentions the way to get there by using his formula is with new vaccines. Hint, hint. Okay, so that's number one. And that's what leads me to connect all this to Gates or to the Illuminati or the Freemasons and so on. Number two, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So reproduction, is that saying more abortions or getting rid of, per se, children who would be in their eyes, a hinder on the population, mentally retardation, deformed, various different things. Is that what they're talking about? Or are they just talking about people choosing wisely not to have sex and using contraceptive, or what? Number three, unite humanity with a living new language. So they're wanting one language. That leads you where? New World Order. Real passion, faith, and tradition, and all things with tempered reason. That one can go a lot of different ways, and I'm not really sure what to think about it. Number five, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Okay, so we already, at least here in the United States, up until recently, thought that we had, fair courts and things like that. But we're all finding that we don't. Also leads you back to the New World Order. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. One world order. 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. I can go with the petty laws because there are a lot of laws. We did that way back when we were doing the laws that really made no sense why they were even on the book. So I totally get the law thing. As far as useless officials, if you're referring to our government, hey, I'm all for that too. Let's see. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. Number 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Still kind of like the number 4. Kind of take it several ways. Number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. What do you think about those?
The rules that they came up with, as you said, they built this in the 80s at a time of the Cold War. So thinking that everybody would be nuked and wiped out was a perpetual thing. Back in the 50s and 60s in school, like we've heard on the Daily Mojo multiple times, we have duck and cover. So if you see the flash, duck and cover. So Cold War, nukes going off in everybody's backyard was a big thing. People even had bomb shelters in those days in their backyard. The rules are fairly benign in a sense. Maintain humanity under 500,000. Well, that's ludicrous because there will always be more than 500,000 people, or 500 million, in the world. Guide reproduction wisely and diversity. Improving fitness and diversity. So in other words, I guess they do want to have 27 genders and not 2. Unite harmony with a living new language. That they've already done, but you don't realize it yet. Think about this. What is a new language that we've only been using probably since slightly before the 80s? Would that not be ones and zeros? So they have created a new language, the computer language.
I never thought about that. Yeah, I never. Go ahead.
And it is a living, growing. Because think about it, you first started basic programming was in BASIC, fold slot A into tab B. Now we have artificial intelligence making hundreds of billions of computations per second. So in that regards, they have accomplished that one. Rule, passion, faith, and tradition. See, now they're saying, take those things, but temper them down. Temper them with reason. Don't go crazy. Don't let faith lead how you want to be. Don't let your passions lead you. Yet the opposite of what we normally do as people, they do every day. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Well, like you said, America is probably the fairest and justest nation on the planet, or at least we were. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a court. In other words, everybody's borders are their own. They're sovereign unto themselves. And if you have problems with your neighbors, you go to court. You don't go running across the dividing lines between two said countries. Let's take the Middle East. If you're Israel and Palestine, if they were to live by that, Palestine wouldn't be launching hundreds of thousands of rockets at Israel on a daily basis. Of course, 100,000, that's an exaggeration, but I believe just this last week, they shot another 40 or 50 missiles towards Israel. So they say, do that all in a court. In other words, like go to The Hague and let's discuss it.
Well, they're saying a world court. So like a world, like one court that we will handle all of our world problems.
Exactly. That's pretty much The Hague is considered the world court at this time. So they essentially have that. You go to The Hague, you say, look, Italy's being mean to Spain, and they won't give them their tacos back. So they discuss it in the court. So they're trying to do that, essentially. Petty laws and useless officials. Well, if you take America for a prime example, you've got the Department of Education, Department of the Interior. So there's all kinds of useless officials. Murder is murder. You don't need to say murder 27 times. Murder is murder. You know, it's pretty cut and dried. Balance your personal rights with social duties. There you go. Now that's a bit of a socialistic kind of thought, not just because it has the word social duties in it, but by saying social duties, balance your personal rights, the freedoms that you personally enjoy. Balance that with your fellow neighbor. So in other words, mask up for your friends so they don't catch the Ronas. Yeah.
But what about personal rights and social duties? I sent you the Agenda 21 thing a while back, didn't I? Did you ever?
I've gone through Agenda 2030. Yeah, because your personal you to own nothing.
Right. Okay. So your personal rights with the New World Order will be the Agenda 2130, and your rights will be null, and your social duties will be what they tell you your social duties
exactly
are. Okay.
That's what China is doing with the social score.
Right.
Prize truth, beauty, love, okay, admirable traits. Seek harmony with the infinite. In other words, they don't want to come out and say there's God. They're calling it the infinite. Seek harmony. Be one with nature. Home. And the last one, be not a cancer on earth. Some of their existences just by being on earth is, in my opinion, a cancer. Of course, I would believe they would think the same of me. There's people like Nancy Pelosi. There's Chuck Schumer. If they aren't a cancer on this earth, I don't know what are. There's a whole bunch more of them. Leave room for nature.
Well, that could also be their, saving the planet, get rid of all these things that are killing the planet, bring the electric cars and get rid of the oil and the pollution, various other types of things that they claim we're killing the planet with. I mean, it's an idea.
They
you have another commercial real quick, don't you?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because we got like 2 minutes.
In the process it isn't that. What you need to help offset these things that they want to try and do is to go over to prepareWithMojo50.com and get yourself 3 month, 6 month, 1 year, get you a supply of groceries that all you have to do is add water and it tastes good. And you can save money. As a matter of fact, the 3 month supply right now is $100 off. And that's that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks to go with it, a 2,000 calorie a day diet. Be sure to go over to preparewithmojo50.com and check out that stuff to help keep you fed when the crap hits the fan.
I think it's coming too. I'm hearing trucks are fixing to stop delivering. So it doesn't hurt for people to prepare for the end. We're going into a commercial and we'll be back in about 2 minutes, give or take. And we'll see y'all when we return.
I can do.
Oh, me. Oh,
hi, Linda. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, everybody. Let's see. Looking to see if there's anything else on here I need. It's funny, the sponsors. A small group of Americans who seek the age of reason. Okay. Got some interpretations too. Pretty interesting ones, should we say. I need me a mouse pad. That one somewhere. I just need to find it. Yeah, because that's why you hear all that. That noise. You don't hear that?
Here you go. Here, you want this one? Right here. And we're warming back up.
Welcome back, everybody. Ain't You a Peach? And I'm Jamie, and that's Lep, and we're talking about the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, so I found a few interpretations. One of them kind of stands out to me. Yoko Ono said the inscribed messages are a, quote, stirring call to rational thinking, while Wired, I think that's the magazine, stated that unspecific opponents have labeled them as, quote, the 10 Commandments of the Antichrist. Which kind of, that's actually sort of the way that I kind of feel about them. They have a bad stigma to them. The New World Order has been linked to them, and everybody should know what the New World Order is. The banker, you saw the interview where the guy was trying to get him to divulge the name of Christian. And to me, and me and my niece talk about this all the time, is the fact that we're being mocked a lot of times. They are saying things that are like them laughing in our face. And to me, one thing said that he chose the name Christian because he was a Christian. And the RC, what was the group that you said you thought the RC stood for? The
Rosicrucians?
Yeah.
Rosicrucians?
Right. But for me, I feel like he chose the name Christian as a mockery. It says on here that claiming the Guidestones are a deep satanic origin and that RC Christian belongs to a Luciferian society related to the New World Order. The man at the bank, when he was being interviewed, mentioned the New World Order several times during that interview. He did not give the name, but he did keep mentioning the New World Order. So it kind of leads you to wonder, are they the ones behind it? Are the Freemasons behind it? Who exactly is behind it?
No telling. One of the controversies is that the two bank gentlemen, Martin and Finley, themselves were the masterminds behind it. And like you had said, it was a work against Christian scripture. They thought that it was objectionable for not placing faith, as the people in the area thought that it was objectionable because they didn't have faith as the primary objective. Other powers think that it's a satanic cult that did put it up. I'm not so certain myself either way. Now, they say, let's see, there's a local minister in the town, James Travesend. He raged that the stones were for sun worshipers, cult worship, and devil worship, adding that occult groups would flock to the city and someday a sacrifice would take place there. Now, they haven't. I watched a whole bunch of videos getting ready for this. A biker, he never did say what his name was in one of the videos, said that if you look at it at the right angle, you can see a blue orb. Now, what this biker had been eating, I'm not sure to have him see a blue orb. Now, it does mark several astronomical events. It keeps track of the passage of the sun from its farthest points east and west, although the sun does rise in the east and set in the west. There's a bit of a traverse from, it's not the same spot every day, it moves, and it's kind of a little elliptical figure eight pattern that the sun makes as it comes up throughout the year. Kind of because of our wobble, because of our tilt, it shows up in different places each day. Now,
it also has where you can see the North Star.
It does. It has a hole cut in it so you can see Polaris. It also has a groove cut that you can look through that aligns with the solstices and the equinox.
Mm-hmm.
The 21st of December, 21st of June are two of the dates that the hole in one stone lines up with. So you can see those events. So is it a American version of Stonehenge? Possibly.
It's been compared.
It has been.
Mm-hmm.
They have said that. Now, is it? It's hard to say. Did the New World Order and the Illuminati, I presume the Illuminati takes the New World Order gets its orders from the Illuminati. So the Illuminati would be the top dog, and then they dictate down through the masses or their underlings, kind of like Hydra. Think of the old G.I. Joe movies from that Marvel's made, and you've got Hydra, who's this bad arms going everywhere, and there you go. And they're the bad guys. They're trying to cramp everybody's style.
My understanding of the order is the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and I think there are a couple of other different groups that are all kind of equal, but different groups, but they're like the Freemasons, a secret society type of thing. And I don't know. I mean, I've even heard Ted Turner could have been the one that erected these. Don't know, because they did show you the bank footage, and the man, you can never see his face. He had a big cowboy hat on. He had a suit, kind of a Western looking suit on, and a briefcase, but he made sure that his face was never seen. I mean, would I put it past Ted Turner? He is kind of in that group.
Well, a lot of influential people are Masons. So the Masons are pretty much everywhere and into everything. I've always considered them a rather beneficial organization for the community, or at least from what I can see of them.
But so, that's their front. That's their front. They want people to look at them like they're the good guys. The Shriners, people think that they're good guys, but deep down inside, they have secrets. They aren't everything that people think that they are, if that makes sense.
Sure. Everybody puts on masks. You don't necessarily see what everybody is all the time. You only see what they wish you to be presented with.
I agree. But
so the New World Order.
But when the things that you're doing secretly are satanic, evil things, then you're going to put up a bigger front.
Well, like you say, or I should say, like Paul Harvey once said, the greatest trick that the devil pulled off was convincing the world that he didn't exist. So, and how do you do things without being obvious about it? You be obvious about it and do it right out in the open. And 9 times out of 10, by being right up front and open with what you're doing, you get away with it, because everybody figures you wouldn't do that out in front of, hate to use the expression, but I'm going to, God and everybody, that you would do it behind closed doors in dark alleys and in the dark. But when you do it in the light of day, no one sees you doing it.
And then there's also the thing that never happened, with the fact that there's supposed to be 8 more, like another, either in addition to the one that's there, or another one beside it, or something. The man that at the bank said there was supposed to be, in a couple of years, someone else coming to do this, and they've never shown up, so it never happened. There's also a time capsule that has to be opened on, and no date. They didn't fill the date in. Makes you wonder if there's actually a time capsule in there, or did they just accidentally forget to fill it out You know, there's a lot of questions.
Well, the best thing to do when you have a lot of questions like that and you're not quite sure what to do about it, you sleep on it. And you know, the best way to sleep on it is if you go over to mypillow.com. That's right, that's mypillow.com. And if you look, there's several boxes at the top, and then you go down to about the third box on the right hand side, and it says radio specials in there, and you click that. Boom, that gives you mattress toppers, that gives you slippers, that gives you robes, that gives you pillows, that gives you sheets, all at a great discount. Use the promo code mojo50 and save yourself some dough over there at mypillow.com. That's right, that's mypillow.com. And they got all your sleepwear needs right in one place. And see, they didn't have that when they built the Guidestones. And I have a theory. Now, this is, you know, theories are like derrieres. Everybody has one, and they all smell of fecal material. But what if the time capsule was to be buried upon the completion of the other stones that were to go up? And why didn't they, and why hasn't that been completed? Why isn't there more work being done? A couple of thoughts. One, the organization that was doing it is now defunct. Whomever it was thought they had the juice. They scrounged up this cash because they showed a video online of actual bank footage with a dude flips that briefcase open and it's full of, and this was in the 70s. So if nothing else, it was $100 bills, if not larger denomination bills, because they used to have a $10,000 bill, if memory serves right, and a $1,000 bill. Now, both are out of circulation currently, but I do believe they had both of those currencies back 60s, 70s. I vaguely remember that time when I was a kid and my uncle having, I don't know, maybe a $10,000 bill or something, you know, huge ass money. And it was a single piece of paper. Me as a kid didn't pay much attention, but it happened. So did they not increase the Guidestone location? Because they've got 5 acres to put those in, and they're currently using maybe a quarter of an acre. So is it the fact that the group that was doing this has disbanded, fell out of favor, lost each other, you know, something along those lines? Anything there is possible.
I mean, there's a lot of speculation, you know, nobody knows, and we probably never will really know. That's an idea, though. I mean, that is a very good idea, that maybe the people, I don't think the group behind it is defunct, because me, myself, I believe that the New World Order, the Freemasons, I believe that they were the ones that were behind it, but that's just me. And I believe this was the rules for after they destroy most of the people on Earth, and it's a way for them to succeed at their Agenda 2130. I mean, but like I said, that's my opinion.
It could be.
Everybody's,
it could very well be. It could be a group of people that, like you say, thought they were doing good and being benevolent because of all of the Cold War nuke everything, and it's all falling apart, all of it. Look what they do with the Minuteman missile silos that were scattered throughout the Midwest. They're turning them into condos. Well, not necessarily condos, but homes, abodes. People are buying them and moving into it in case, but I don't think we'll have an in case, other than we could get lucky and Yellowstone could go off, but I don't think so. And old RC and Wayne, the bank manager and gentleman that kicked out the cash, could they have been in cahoots with each other? It's possible. I mean, people did buy pet rocks back in the day, and all that was a rock in a cardboard box, and the guy made millions of dollars. P.T. Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute. So could it all be just a hoax? Now, the languages that they used, and then at the top, they have what? Sanskrit. Is it Sanskrit at the top? And hieroglyphs that essentially say the same as their commandments, but written in ancient language. And has anybody ever checked, or is there a way to check, is it built on a ley line? And if it is, then that might have significance in itself. Now they picked that location.
The ones that go around the top edges, what it says on all four sides, and I think on the top it says, "Let these Guidestones be an age of reason." So
that's what they say at the top. I was under the impression they had the same message.
No, the large sides have the 10 rules,
right?
Per se, the four sides on the top,
that's a capstone.
Say, "Let these be a Guidestone to an age of reason."
And which languages are they in?
I think it's Swahili.
No, that's
Chinese, Arabic, and English. Yes.
No, that's on the blocks, the top itself.
Yeah, those four, I think it's those four languages are the ones that are around the top.
Okay. I was under the impression it was hieroglyphics, Sumerian.
It could be. I'm not 100% sure, and it doesn't say in the article, and I can't remember what they said it was.
Right.
But I did have an interesting video from I don't know if this man's is Israeli. I mean, he's American, but I don't know if his roots are Israeli, but his take on it was pretty interesting. I mean, that's just my opinion, that he is interesting. So we'll listen to that one real quick.
Shalom, everybody. I've got some interesting, thought-provoking news for all of you. I want to first read from the biblical 10 Commandments, which has ruled many nations and societies throughout the years. And here's what it says. Number 1, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Number 2, thou shalt make unto thee any graven images. Number 3, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. 4, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 5, honor thy father and thy mother. 6, thou shalt not kill. 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. 8, thou shalt not steal. 9, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And finally, number 10, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. Now here we are in Elbert County, and behind me are the Georgia Guidestones. Some have referred to this as the commandments of the Antichrist. Others just look at it as slabs of granite, like something out of Stonehenge, because these slabs represent the commandments of reason, a very secular, humanistic interpretation, and possibly more to it than that. As in June of 1979, somebody that was referred to, and that you can view on YouTube and elsewhere, as R.C. Christian, came with $500,000 representing a group of what he said were very committed Americans to find a place in this county, because his mother was from Georgia, and he wanted to keep this top secret. Many have supposed that RC stood for Rosicrucianism, and that's very possible as they talk about an apocalypse in the end. But we will see in these 8 languages, Hebrew, English, Russian, Swahili, Chinese, Spanish, and Hindi that there is more to it than meets the eye. So walk with me right now as we read these commandments. By the way, this is over 235,000 pounds of granite, which Georgia, the state of Georgia, is very well known for its quality granite. And at its highest peak, it's a little over 19 feet. So they are quite big in the middle of this field. Come with me. Now let me read them to you, and here's what they say. Number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million people in perpetual balance with nature. That should have everybody worried, because today our population is well over 7 billion in the world. Number 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. 3, unite humanity with a living new language. Doesn't that remind you of the building of the Tower of Babel? Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. There's this whole thing about reason and humanism. 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. And as I read that, I was sparked with interest as the world in Europe is coming against Israel in The Hague in the supposed world court. What's the connection, I ask? Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Right? Really? Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. Number 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. And finally, number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature, leave room for nature. When you get to the nitty-gritty of this, frightening at the least. And it reminds me of the same kind of spiritual intonation as we saw in the building of the Tower of Babel. Here you have the Georgia Guidestones.
And I've heard the Tower of Babel brought up quite a bit. So even my niece jumped on that with, it does, the rules with the Tower of Babel also kind of had something to do with language and various other types of things that are similar to this.
Right. I still say their language is computer language, ones and zeros.
It could quite possibly, I don't think we'll ever really find out until the end actually gets here. I mean, when all of this comes to be, which I feel it's coming, right. I believe that all the truth will be shown.
Well, you know what you can do to find some peace and solitude while you're waiting is if you went over to Romika Designs. They have a place called romikadesigns.com. Oh my goodness, they got goodies over there. Let's see, they've got the phone stand. They've got the COVID shot glasses. They have, what else do they got? What else? Let me move us out of the way. Let's see, that children's letter and shapes trainer. They have the best teacher. Oh, no, it's an ornament. Wait a minute, that won't work. How about a bathroom? A word search sign.
What about Doc's rules?
On the cutting board.
Mm-hmm.
They have a fine right cutting board. And you can get yours right now by ordering at romikadesigns.com. All you have to do is go over there. Tell them Jamie sent you. She's cute.
So you do have a spaced thing, right?
Sure, always.
And now, it's time for Spaced with Leprechaun.
I'm a huge space nut.
Yeah. 2 minutes.
2? I can do it.
Yeah, about 2 minutes. Okay.
Alrighty. If you want to see into the past, you can. You yourself can see into the past. And all you have to do is look up after sunset each evening as it falls. When you're looking along the sun's path, approximately at its zenith, the highest point in the sky, you're looking backwards along Earth's orbit. So essentially, you're seeing past Earth's where they would be. All you have to do is check it out. The chart, there's a chart. Did you have that or do you? Anyway.
You didn't give me the site.
Oh no, I thought I dropped it. Okay, well, it shows a path. How to describe this? Yeah, okay. I blew that one. Well, when I fnork one up, I fnork it up good. And so happy and new year to you too. Man, I messed that one up. It's the view opposite eastward direction. Let's see. Is there enough time to get it to you? Is the 12-cent question. Am I fast enough, short enough, funny looking enough before we run out of time to like drop this over where it says, Amy? No, that's a deli. Where'd you go? You left. You ran away. There you are. See, I knew you were here. You had to be here. I'm crazy. I know. When I fnork it up, I fnork it up. See,
it's all good. Okay.
Everything's all good.
So let's make this quick. You're
quick?
down to about a minute, less than a minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay. As you see in the beautiful beam footage, if you, the chart, the scene, the last evening of 2021, just a couple of days ago, it shows us looking backward along Earth's orbit around the sun. And below, a happy new year to you is the view in the opposite eastward direction, in the forward direction in Earth's orbit around the sun on the following morning and the morning of the first day, yesterday of 2022. How's that for being quick and painless?
Very good. Very good. Well,
and
we're glad y'all were here. We have a few seconds. So we'll see everybody next Sunday at 12 noon. And you can find us on Spreaker, on the Mojo side of Spreaker. And you know where to find us at. We have a Facebook, YouTube. So Twitter.
And if you missed this today, catch us Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. before Brad and everybody starts. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.